Leffen is the most hated man in esports.
It's so easy to win in these other games. Cheap-ass character that you can't even fight against.
In this video, I'm going to explain to you why Leffen is a disease that can be expected to fully erode the Smash community as well as several other esports communities within the next 10 years.
Leffen has historically been one of the most despicable people to exist in the FGC.
Over the course of 13 years of professional play across multiple games, he has managed to be hated by both peers and strangers time and time again. And yet, in spite of it all, Leffen has persisted.
Air dodge! Yep, that's it. That's it! Leffen wins! Leffen makes the comeback. He beats all four gods in the wake.
Armada has no shield. Armada has Leffen! Leffen is our EVO 2018 Super Smash Bros. Melee champion.
Okay! We are seeing Beyblade in, but no wake up 5P check from Leffen. He is undefeated, your EVO 2023 champion. He did it.
He did it 100%.
When Leffen loses, people celebrate his defeat. When Leffen wins, people despise him. So we had to ask, why do people hate him so much? And is there really a wrong way to win? Okay, so before we get to the video, just wanted to remind everyone that we have a brand new merch drop. You can check out our new Bader hoodie, W Warrior tee, and esports shirt over at shop.thescore.com, and maybe get a holiday gift for that special theScore esports fan in your life. Okay, so who is Leffen, and why do people hate him so much? William Leffen Gelta is a Swedish pro who got his start in Super Smash Bros. Melee. After years of grinding the game, he finally won an EVO trophy in 2018.
Armada has no shield. Armada has Leffen! Leffen is our EVO 2018 Super Smash Bros. Melee champion.
But that was EVO's last ever Melee tournament, and around that time, Leffen started eyeing other games. He played Dragon Ball FighterZ and later Street Fighter 6, but the game he really took to was Guilty Gear Strive.
Hold on for the YRC. 2S is just a bare miss. First on the table for Daru. They have mid-dire. The block and the punish from Leffen. Moving into our winners finals over Daru Ino.
Now, it's not uncommon for a fighting game player to dabble in other games, but it's extremely uncommon for a Smash player to do that. In fact, it's literally unheard of. But Leffen's entry into the FGC showed the world that his time in Smash trained him up perfectly for traditional fighters.
But really what I think he gels with the most are these high APM games, right? Like the Marvels, like the Dragon Balls, like the Guilty Gears, because that's kind of his DNA from Melee. It makes total sense why Leffen excels at these games where he's juggling different options when he has to constantly do something with his hands. But his brain is so sharp and so used to that he really is able to excel with those characters and juggle all those options.
Leffen's Strive top 8 at EVO 2022 was a mark of pride, a sign that he was a spectacularly talented fighting game player who could master both Smash and a traditional fighter at once, something that no one had ever done at the highest level. But that wasn't enough for him.
Next hit's gonna kill here. Runs up. Gas is wrong. You can't really burst here either. It's gonna be the wall break. It's gonna be the kill. Slash moving on into grand finals for another chance against Umisho.
After falling in 3rd place at EVO 2022, Leffen redoubled his efforts in Strive. He switched characters and returned the next year to dominate.
Now the super confirmed. The stage change plus frames were looking good. Oh, stomps on his dome piece. That is a first for Leffen in winners finals.
That was a dominating performance right there.
Leffen though with a fully loaded clip is going to be long for man.
Oh no, you hate it on the big stage too, Chip. Chip, yeah, he had no meter, and from that range, no meter, no nothing you can do. Leffen moving on to grand finals on the winner's side. Whatever you got to bring it out right now. Curse. Okay! We are seeing Beyblade in, but no wake up 5P check from Leffen. He is undefeated, your EVO 2023 champion. He did it.
He did it 100%.
Yeah, the guy won EVO, and a huge chunk of the crowd was just silent. Compare that to the way that everyone was on their feet just a few hours later when Angry Bird won Street Fighter 6.
This is the chance, last guess for Mena of the tournament. Trade, goes to the knuckle, it doesn't reach, and that'll do it! Angry Bird, your Street Fighter 6 Evolution 2023 champion!
And that brings us back to the question posed at the outset. Why is it that everyone hates Leffen so much? Leffen has a fairly troubled history when it comes to being called toxic.
Armada had known about it, and like while I was coaching him on stage and stuff like that, he's been like trying to ban me the whole time. So at that time, I felt pretty betrayed.
The earliest days of Leffen's career are pretty much defined by his ban from the Swedish Melee scene for his behavior towards his fellow players.
We felt like we have to do something because this has been going overboard for a long time. So evidence.zip and that thread on Smashboards was basically a way to tell people our experience with him as a person.
But the controversies didn't stop even after he got unbanned.
So obviously I have had, you know, an interesting, not cordial relationship with Hungrybox. I have been pretty upfront about the fact that I hate him as a person.
From beefing with Hungrybox, to trash-talking old legends, to just generally being far more blunt with his opinions than any other player in the scene, Leffen picked up a lot of haters over the years. And look, everyone has that one friend who's just a little too real, who just talks a little too much trash. But that friend usually isn't one of the greatest players in the world.
It's like, it's so risky. You're putting it all the money, all the tournament. Air dodges,
Oh
my God, and it's done.
Leffen finds
Leffen
it.
popping off, and Leffen moves on.
Leffen.
God damn.
We got
Whipping
a water
his
park
water
going
bottle.
on over here.
Now, Leffen's incredible skill earned him diehard fans, even while his brash attitude made him public enemy #1 to other members of the Smash community. And when he started playing other games, his heel status followed him there too.
Leffen, he realized he got himself into some shit that he can't get out of by accepting that invitation. He was like, I should have just kept Mansion 6P with fucking Happy Chaos where no one can interact with me and I could play footsies full screen by myself.
Now, some of the hate that Leffen got on account of his EVO win was focused on his character, Happy Chaos.
Oh man, because he shoots you from full screen and then does like 80% of your life. And you're like, that's not how fighting games work.
Happy Chaos is among the more busted characters fighting games have seen in recent years. Ostensibly, he's a zoner. He's meant to control the screen and keep you at bay. In practice, though, he chips you from full screen before closing the gap and mauling you in the corner with little to no counterplay.
Very, very comfortable so far in his first game right now for Leffen. Perfect first round, working on a double perfect right now. BRC, this is what I talked about. The mix is not over. The mix is not over.
If you saw the micro dash before the overhead off the fuzzy, he really made you think he was gonna go low. That was so cool.
Now, fighting game players tend to dislike zoners in general. The feeling is that when they win, you don't really get to play the game. And while that might be a little overblown in some cases, Happy Chaos absolutely doesn't let you play the game.
A lot of times we've never had to deal with a fighting game character that's gonna shoot me with a hit scan style projectile, one that really connects very quickly. It doesn't have like a lot of travel speed where you're able to jump over it or slide under it or have these different things to avoid it. He's got incredible Oki up close where it's hard to defend against. It's not even just the fact that he's getting this big damage from far away. It's just something that I think it was very foreign to people.
Leffen won EVO with Happy Chaos, which certainly emboldened his haters, the ones who would say he was carried. But Leffen was also the only Happy Chaos good enough to make top 8, a point he was all too happy to make on Twitter after the win, rubbing salt in the wound and probably making him even more disliked by certain members of the scene. And anyway, these people hated Leffen back when he played Chip and Zato. Obviously, the new character choice wasn't doing him any favors, but their supernatural dislike was about a lot more than one broken character, which doesn't really make sense. Leffen was an unknown quantity to the FGC. He didn't have an old ban looming over his head or a history of talking shit. And yet, people found reasons to hate on him anyway. For being too cocky, for being too good, for not being good enough, for picking a broken character. But, most importantly, they hated him for his attitude.
Just like he speaks his mind, and whether you like it or not, like he's not really gonna sugarcoat what's on his mind to appease people, right? Like if he feels like something sucks, he's just gonna say it sucks. And I just think he speaks from his heart, and a lot of the time that kind of gets you in trouble.
I have your solution, and it's called branding. All right, so maybe your thoughts aren't wrong, but your thoughts can't be coming out of your mouth, especially after losing.
Oh yeah, I feel bad for poor Leffen sometimes when I look at it.
Because I know a lot of you guys, right? You think to yourselves, well, Leffen's he's being a crybaby or he's upset about it or whatever. But in general, the tweets, right? I feel bad for him every time I see him type it. I feel like he needs to chill out a bit.
One of the prevailing opinions is that a lot of Leffen's haters would back down if Leffen just expressed his opinions differently. Like if he just took some of the edge off. But then, would Leffen really be Leffen if he did that?
So I do think that there would be like a sect of people that would like him a bit more if he did, like, you know, go walk outside for 5 minutes, collect his thoughts, like come back and give a very like calm plea to changing something. No, that's not Leffen, bro. That's not what I want. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that would definitely alienate a lot of the people that are fans of him.
Leffen represents a pretty unique caliber of player in the FGC and in esports at large. Players with top tier skills and a polarizing personality are 1 in a million.
Those other people, the Sonic Foxes, the Punks, these players that kind of have such amazing results coupled with their personality, those are the players that really do catch fire. Those are the players that are getting over 100,000 follows on social media, that are really driving the viewers to click their videos, to watch their matches, stuff like that, right? The play has to be there.
The community needs people like Leffen. His status puts eyes on the scene. His skills force people to respect him, and his passion to be the best at everything he touches means he's coming for everyone. Maybe he didn't win in the way everyone wanted him to, but that almost made his EVO win better. He won his way, being loud and cocky and better than anyone who ever talked shit about him. And most importantly, he's not actually an asshole. He's just a guy with strong opinions. There's a big difference between being a heel and actually being toxic.
When I've dealt with him, he's come from a place that's like a logical place a lot of the time. When you kind of look at it that way and you just try to understand and be like, you know, you don't try to get like into an aggressive back and forth with him. I don't find him to be very aggressive as a person, but for the most part, I just think he speaks his mind in a way that he's not really worried about people's opinions on it, whether it's going to appease them or whether it's going to bother them. And a lot of the time, I think that just rubs people the wrong way.
That's not to say that all of the hate has been good. Some people have gone after Leffen for allegedly profiting off of Smash's Me Too moment in the summer of 2020, which is a ridiculous accusation on its face.
That said, though, I do think in general, you know, as a general, you need to believe victims, especially if they don't have a very credible reason to lie. And even then, I generally think you should start out by believing them.
But once you have a few haters, you're bound to get more, and they're going to spin things out to extreme proportions.
In Leffen's case, what you'll eventually find is that his hero status was entirely self-engineered. Everything Leffen is remembered as a hero for was a political heist in ways that people didn't consider, and his motivations are much darker than people realize.
Leffen has talked about not feeling safe at events sometimes, worried that people would harm him. And no one deserves to get death threats over a video game for being their authentic selves, just because their authentic self can be a little tough to get along with sometimes. He's kept up the trash talk, even minutes after winning EVO in front of a stunned crowd that was mostly against him. But then, that crowd had to get up on their feet and applaud anyway. Because no matter what Leffen said, whether you agree with his hot takes or don't, he won. In that moment, in front of those silent onlookers, Leffen was the best Strive player in the world. He was a superstar, a god, hated and loved in equal measure. He won the wrong way, but that means he was right, because he was exactly what everyone needed him to be.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit us up on our Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.